right, you bunch of yahoos, strap yourselves in for another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity.
In other words, shut up, sit up, and pay attention. And welcome back to another episode of Toxic Masculinity, where we are here to entertain, offend, defend, and anyone and everyone. It's merely our simple-minded opinions, but rest assured, you're going to be infused with a lot of masculinity. So if you can't handle it, maybe you better get out of the kitchen or go put your band pants on and tune on in. Normally, I would be introducing my other dashingly handsome mustache man, Don the Predator Frye, but Don is a little under the weather at this time. So I ask our listeners to keep Don in their thoughts and prayers, and hopefully we'll have Don back in no time at all, cussing and just being the Oreo codger that he is. But as the old cliche, the show must go on. And we have a special guest this evening, a man that has held many different credentials, real name being Charles Wright, but he's kind of been known as, Papa Shango, the Kama Mustafa, and the Godfather being probably, I don't know, Charles, would you say, which one of those roles was one of your funnest roles that you ever portrayed?
Well, first off, thanks for having me on the show, guys. I've been looking forward to talking with you guys. And so thanks for having me. But come on, man, by far, The Godfather is my favorite. And it's my favorite because it is me. I'm not pretending to be an ultimate fighter. I'm not pretending to be a voodoo man. I'm not pretending to be, a militant. I'm being myself. And what you seen with The Godfather was just me being me.
No, again, every time I see you getting ready to go out there for that, I'm thinking you were just smiles from ear to ear. You're like a kid in the candy store. I mean, they hooked you up with beautiful women to put on your arms and outfits that you wore out there. I mean, you were styling and profiling and having the time of your life. I could see that every time.
But the crazy thing about it, bro, is that was all my wife's idea. All of it was my wife. The gold, the outfits, the hats, the colors. All I did was the silly part, the entertaining part. The rest was my wife.
Wow. Well, it's good to have it. And an in-house advisor like that, consulting with all your wardrobe, mannerisms. Wow.
I was very, and the cool thing about it is we're still together today.
No, again, we'll talk about different pros and cons, even about the industry. Being a married man involved in the professional industry is a tough aspect on a family life.
This is my third wife.
Okay.
I went through two wives during wrestling. We've been married this time. I've been married 23 years. So
wow,
I think we're going to.
That's a long time.
Excuse me, 20. It'll be 23 years this September. So, yeah, I think we're going to last.
Yeah, no, you've got some time invested there. I can say if the only way they guys will split at that point, that's called shootout at the OK Corral. Last person standing wins all.
Like, I don't know if I'm going to live to 125, but I'm going to be around for a little bit.
Nice. I said before, a man just got to have a dream. A man's got to have a dream. My question to you, first off, is let's go back in the younger years of Charles. What, like being in high school, what types of sports were you involved in? Were you involved in sports?
Believe it or not, I was a basketball player. I did not play football in high school because my mom would not sign. Back then, you had to have waivers. They had to sign permission slips for you to play. I don't know if it's like that today. And my dad would sign it, but my mom refused to sign it. She says, "You're going to get hurt." She said, "Play basketball." So even though I didn't want to play basketball, I played basketball. Now hear this. In 1979, I played ball in Northern California. In 1979, I was Northern California Basketball Player of the Year in 1979, my senior year. I was recruited. I went to college for 1 year. All right. And I got a basketball scholarship, and I'm playing ball but I wanted to be a football player. So I started lifting weights. And when I graduated high school in 79, I'm 6'5", 185. Year and a half later, I'm 6'5", 245, 250, because I started hanging out with the football players, doing football drills, lifting weights, and my body just really, it soaked it in. And then so I played basketball, and then the football coach from St. Mary's went to UNR, and there was a coach by the name of Chris Alt there. And they said, hey, we got this basketball player who's now benching over 400 pounds. He can still dunk a basketball, and he's running a 4.8 40, but he's never played football. So they flew me to Nevada, Reno, right? UNR. They put a basketball in my hand. Now I'm 275, 280, and now I'm pushing some weight, and I'm dunking the basketball this way, and I'm dunking it because I was a basketball player. They gave me a full ride scholarship when I had never, ever played tackle football besides playing with my friends in the park. I had never played with a helmet. I've never had gear on. And they made me an offensive tackle. And within a year, I was starting.
Wow.
Well, a year and a half. My junior year, I was starting. And never played football in my life.
That's that's an incredible story right there, Charles, because I mean, it's wow.
Isn't that crazy?
I just know that's absolutely crazy. I mean, I love football. I love football so much. I played all through high school, and I mean, I loved it so much. But I knew that if I wanted to really excel, I had to take something else, because in football you have to rely upon 10 other players to do their job along with yours. You could be this mass destructive type person, but somebody over here misses a block, misses a tackle, and you lose, the whole team loses. So I end up choosing the sport of wrestling just because the definition of wrestling is a team sport based upon individual performances. The team can lose, but I can still go on. And that's why I chose the sport of wrestling. But Frank at the time, Frank Cush was the head coach at that time. And Frank Cush used to come and watch like the home wrestling matches, and then he would corner me back by the locker room or something like that. And he's like, Severn, you're an animal. He goes, I see linebacker written all over you. I'm like, Coach, you got me pegged. I go, I'd tear my heart out and I'd give it to you. But do you have 10 other players that'll do that exact same thing? Then when he paused, I'm like going, that spoke volumes to me. I go, never pause, never pause.
Well, you made the right decision. You made a good decision.
Yeah, I think position? So, but you can't do do-overs. So it's kind of like going, you got to live with your decisions.
What position did you play? So in basketball, you said in 79 you were the best player.
I was a forward, and I was a small forward. I'm only 6'5".
Yeah, but
I was also a high jumper, and I high jumped. I only high jumped till my junior year, and I think at that time that the record was 6'9". In high school back then in the late 70s, and I got up to 6'6", 6'7", and then I concentrated more on basketball.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I was a leaper, dude.
So did you guys win any championships while you were playing?
Excuse me?
Did you guys win any championships while you were playing?
We were Northern. Yes, we won the SCBEL. We won the CCS. We won the Shaughnessy playoffs. And if you're from Northern California, I don't know. This is a long time ago. I don't even know if they have these still. But yeah, man, we were really good. I wish that I would have played football in high school, because I would have been a pro. I'm telling you, I wouldn't have been an offensive tackle. I would have been a defensive end or something, because, offense and the right tackle was an easier shot to learn than the left tackle. But if I had it to do over again, I would have been a defensive end. I would have been a defensive end or a tight end.
There you go. Wasn't if you like offense. Well, basketball, a lot of basketball players are the best tight ends when they transition. But I can see you causing havoc in the middle, though. You look,
man, I had to, believe me, that's what I wanted to play football. But my mom says you're going to get hurt, and that's what happened my junior year. I got my knee blown out, and it was my medial collateral, my anterior cruciate. And back then, man, they didn't have the technology that they have now. I mean, back then they just ripped you open and fix you up. So after that happened, things kind of changed for me. I started hanging around strippers and working in strip clubs. I got a tattoo. They started calling me Bear. I started drinking Jack Daniels. Things kind of changed at that point. I hate to say this, but my senior year, I got thrown out of school because you took this basketball player that was crazy anyway. And I played basketball. I believe it. In my senior year, I averaged 20 points and 20 rebounds a game. And that was only because I was tenacious and the other players didn't play like football players. I played tenacious. I wanted to block your shot. I wanted every rebound because I could jump so high. I had a lot of dunks, but I like defense, man. I used to love D'ing people up, and I'd D up sitters and stuff. But yeah, man, but you see what happened. I got hurt. My mom was right. And then my life took a total, and then I started fighting. I started getting in a lot of fights and this stupid knucklehead stuff and bodyguard and strippers. And I ended up in Vegas working at strip clubs. Only thing good came from it is I became one of the owners of Cheetahs here in Las Vegas, which we sold 4 years ago. But yeah, things kind of took a turn for me when I got into that.
And little did you know you were already working on The Godfather.
Yeah, I still can't believe that you said by your junior year you were being like a bouncer or something like that at bars. And your junior year.
I was working in bars when I was 20 years old. I was bouncing, and then I was working. I can't remember the name of the strip club, but then the girls would work on the side on the weekends and stuff, and they pay me to drive them and make sure they were all right and drive them back. And I was like,
so you're saying that 20, because I was doing the math and thinking if you're back then and you said you're doing this by your junior year, I'm thinking you're not even of drinking age here now. Usually you got to be even to go into a strip club, you got to be of drinking age and stuff like that.
I think I was 20 years old when I started going into strip clubs.
Wow, because I've just looked at you and your sheer size and go,
oh, bro,
on your way, sir, on your way.
Now by then I was into powerlifting, and I got up to an 18.5, almost got to 1900 total. But my best was my bench, man. I was like a 570 bencher. Yeah, I always big chest. I was a big bencher. And then I started just doing bench press contests, and I would do the steroid-free one because I didn't do steroids, and I couldn't compete. If I competed against the guys that did steroids, because I was super heavy at that time, it was 275 and super heavies. I was like 305, and to go against the guys that were on the shit, I couldn't. They were doing 600, 650, but I would win if I went to drug-free beats. I'd win because they were only doing 500, and I was doing like 580 or whatever.
What about like putting on any of the sleeves and stuff like that? Did you ever?
We didn't do that back then. Back then, what did we do? When we squatted, we had discus and shot putters had these special shoes they used. And we used to squat with those. When we pulled in like ballerina shoes. They were just like slippers. We pulled with our bare feet. And when we benched, we had a powerlifting belt. But we didn't, back then, there was no suits and all that shit. There was power bars, 100-pound plates, and you'd wrap your wrist. You'd wrap your wrist with the knee wrap stuff that you wrap your knees with.
Yeah, like the
but
ace
there was
wraps.
you did it, and then you had like a wrestling type suit, but it wasn't a powerlifting suit. It was just like a wrestling suit, a singlet.
When I watch like powerlifting competitions, it looks like there's three guys trying to stuff one oversized guy inside of these power suits. I'm thinking, geez, the guy can't breathe. He's walking like this. His arms are out here like that. I mean, it's like going. It's easy, I would think, to add an extra 10, 20 pounds or a lot more, because
you could probably add 100. I think you could add 100 pounds that way. I couldn't imagine doing something, and I'm not here knocking the modern day. I mean, the numbers are bigger. I want to say that I don't remember. I think Shane McMahon, I think we got 595, but we didn't weigh it out. I think we got 595 one time, with Shane actually spotted me at 595 here in Vegas. But it wasn't weighed out, so it could have been 600, it could have been 575, but because we didn't weigh it out. But I mean, that's steroid free, man. That was a big
No, that to me, that's super impressive right there. When you say that's on just raw ability, that was being an amateur wrestler. It was, to me, it was all about the pulling strength. See, football is all that power explode that out. Yeah, but for wrestling, it's like lat pull down, seated poses. And these are singles, these are doubles, these are cradles. You're anything to think about lat pull downs, seated pulls, upright rowing, and then working quads and things of that nature. So, because when I went to Arizona State, I took a weightlifting class so I could learn how to design very sport specific weightlifting programs for the sport of wrestling. It was a football coach that was running it, and all the whole program. I thought, okay, this is all good for a football player. I just need to tweak it just a little bit, but it helped awakening the brain in me towards like, okay, all football related. Change some of the more dynamics that's going to work there for sport of wrestling. Let's go, baby! And
there you go.
But Till, I can't believe that framework that you were doing, especially when you're up there with that weight and you're still up there stuffing that basketball. Them coaches had to be blown away and just salivate. We need him.
That's why I got the full rights colors. They're like, we got to. I was a good athlete. I mean, I was a really good athlete.
Wow.
So you weren't really into wrestling as you were growing up. You said you were more into roller derby.
Oh, you did a little research, did we?
I don't know this one at all.
Growing up in Northern California, the Bay Area, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, Sunnyvale, back then in the 70s, roller derby was bigger than wrestling in Northern California. And at the Cow Palace, wrestling would draw half a house. Roller derby would be sold out. And so when I was young, we'd go see. Now I knew Rocky Johnson, Ray the Crippler Stevens, Kenji Shibua, Haystack Calhouns. I knew the names, but we followed wrestling because we're all 18 years old, 17. You go get a beer at the Cow Palace, drink beer, yell. It was like wrestling. And so I never followed wrestling, ever. Wrestling kind of came and grabbed me. I didn't grab wrestling. They kind of grabbed me.
But the roller derby that you're talking about right now, was that basically professional wrestling?
Same thing.
Okay, so
same terminology.
You got the same type of, they're whipping
same
around.
Spots, baby faces, heel spots, everything. Go over, time, shine. All that stuff is the same as wrestling. Exactly the same.
Wow.
Wrestlers used to say, well, why are you wrestling? They used to say, because I can't roller skate. Wrestling in the early 70s, man. Roller derby was big in the Bay Area.
Yeah, it was a big thing. I remember watching it because I grew up in Arizona, but I saw it on TV, and they never really had something like that where we could go to the rink and watch it. But I remember I love watching it on TV.
We'd drink and have some beers and yell and
so that was your weekend. You like going to the roller rink and we were gonna watch some. The girls were crazy too. I remember watching the girls go at it.
Oh, the girls were it was great. It was great. It was a fun time.
Like you said, wrestling found you, right? And that was from what the Over the Top movie was being filmed.
Yes, and they were filming the movie Over the Top. It was a Sylvester Stallone. What's his name? Scott Norton. I'm sure Dan knows him.
Yeah,
I've never met Scott Norton. I only met him once. He was in it a lot
with Scott in Japan.
Yeah, a lot of guys that weren't big names in wrestling, they were extras in that movie. They would come to the bar. And dude, I'm just fucking boom. I'm just jacked. I'm 320 pounds, drinking a bottle of Jack a day, eat pizza wings, picking up cars. I was just a monster, all tatted up, riding a Harley. And they're like, dude, you should become a wrestler. I swear this is what I said. I don't want to do that phony ass shit. Right? I don't do that phony shit. And I swear this is what happened. So they said, well, you ever hear of a guy named Bam Bam Bigelow? And I'm like, yeah, the dude with the tattoos on his head. They said, well, he made over $1 million last year. And I went, how much? Wrestling?
Hey, you're kind of like going, do go on. Yeah.
Yes, be that wrestling. And so
that shit just got real.
I made a call to Larry Sharp. Back then, there was no cell phones and Instagram and social media. So there was no way, unless you took a picture and sent it to somebody, Pony Express, they wouldn't know what you look like. So Larry Sharp at the Monster Factory, he says, if you fly yourself out here, I will put you up and we'll take a look at you. Well, when he seen me get off, when I got to the airport, he seen me and he's just like, I seen it in his eyes, man. He's like, oh shit. And so I worked a deal with him and I trained. Here's the sad part though. I mean, I don't know what a normal training would be, maybe 6 months to a year, maybe, right? Dude, I wasn't there 2 months. And the whole time I'm there, me and Larry Sharp, God rest his soul, we're going out chasing women, we're drinking, we're in the clubs. I'm not even going to wrestling school. I really wasn't. I was hanging out at night, drinking, partying, picking up girls. And Jerry Lawler, he comes through and he sees me and he goes, So, I mean, I was making more money in the strip club than he offered me. I think he said, we'll pay you $500. This is like 1988. He says, we'll pay you $500 a week. We'll pay for you to get you out here to Memphis. We'll pay for your hotel while you're in Memphis. We want to do like a 2-month program with Jerry Lawler. And so Jerry came down. I got in the ring with him. I didn't know anything. I knew how to lock up and throw a punch. And so I got in the ring with Jerry and he goes, I can work with you. So when we went to Memphis, Jerry, my very first match ever, no practice. Dude, I'm telling you, I didn't go to school 10 times. No practice, no nothing. My very first match ever was against Jerry the King Lawler on a Monday night in Memphis, and I went over. So my very first match,
he even put you over?
He put me
first
over.
Match?
Now there was fire and all type of bullshit, but he put me over.
Wow. Incredible.
Very first match.
That's awesome.
And didn't know shit. Didn't know idiot. I knew how to lock up. That's all I know. I knew how to do a drop down toe hold for some reason. That's it.
Only because you probably watched it, right?
No, I think I might have been there that day sober. You know. And then when I got done with that program with Jerry, they didn't know what to do with me. So they said, we're gonna bring this tall redheaded kid in here to work with you. He's been in the business a little longer than you. Who turned out, his name's Mark Calloway, and he wrestles by Master of Pain. So me and Mark had a match, and it was, on my part, it was so, mind you, I'm a biker back then. I'm like a real biker, and I'm used to dealing with these big old white dudes that are a little bit racist, and I'm quick to hit. I'd rather just knock you out and then talk about it later, you know? But I'm not going to be taking no bullshit. So I see Taker and I'm like, here's another one of these motherfuckers. But I'm like, but he don't have no tattoos. He don't seem to ride a bike. So we had this match where he ended up cracking me over the head as hard as he could with a chair and telling me we could do this the easy way or we could do this the hard way. We had that match. After that, they made us a tag team. And from that day in 1988, he's been my closest best friend to this day.
And your name was Soul Taker at that time.
I
right?
was Soul Taker and he was Master of Pain, and they called us Death Express. We weren't together long because Taker went to Japan. When he came back from Japan, I went to Japan. When I came back to Japan, he went to WCW. When I got back from there, I went to Germany and worked with Owen Hart, Chris Benoit, Fit Finley, Dave Taylor, Razor Ramon. We're all in this. So I was there for 8 months. Working for Big Otto Vons in Germany, in Austria, Graz, Seaborn, Bremen, Hanover, Dortmund. All right. And so when I get back, Taker's in WWF now. So he's like, dude, let's get you a tryout. So I got a tryout in Arizona State. They called me Sir Charles because Charles Barkley was playing there then. And they wanted to put some heat on me. And Vince hired me. And he goes, you're hired. He says, but you got a body of a monster, but you got a baby face. He goes, I got to do something with your face. He goes, I don't need baby faces. I need heels. And so maybe a couple months later, he called me and says, Charles, I want you to go rent the movie Live and Let Die. There's a voodoo character in there, the James Bond film. He goes, and we're going to knock off of that. He goes, and most importantly, I want you to learn that laugh. That laugh. And that's what happened. That's how we got Papa Shango.
Baron Samdini, wasn't it something like that?
It's either Baron Samedi or Baron Samedi.
His name, yeah, the movie.
In the movie, it's either Baron Samedi or Baron Samedi. Some people pronounce it.
Yeah.
And then I chose the name Papa Shango. Papa being a surname, and it's actually Shango. But Shango. I didn't want to say Shango because it sounded like Papa Shango. It sounded country. And I didn't want to sound Papa Shango. So I made it Papa Shango. But the real is Shango. And he is the keeper of the grave. Yeah. A lot of research went into that character.
Yeah, you look like you were really into all the spells and all the voodoo, voodoo you were casting, and you remember, because I remember growing up watching the Undertaker. I mean, not the one with the Ultimate Warrior. I mean, where you cast the spell on him and he's puking in the background, in the back after everything.
That was before.
I wish it would have went to more.
I'll tell you something else about those times. I am the first person that they ever turned all the lights out in the whole arena. I am the first person they ever did that. And I would go into my convulsions, the lights would go off and somebody would be lit on fire. And they were so worried they were going to get sued. They were so worried that somebody was going to get hurt. Somebody was going to get robbed. Somebody was going to get molested, that they almost didn't do it. But then after that, they started doing it. But I was the first person. I was the first person for a lot of things, but I was the first person for that they actually turned all the lights out in the arena.
Wow. I mean, there's so much of this that I'm hearing for the first time. It's mind-boggling me to hear all this there, Charles, because, at the time I came to WWF, I mean, it's you were in the Nation of Domination at that point in time. And that's really all I really knew about you. Except, I mean, I do the Papa Shango character on top of that, but it was, wow, I tell you what, it's mind-boggling to me. I'm really impressed with what you did as a high school basketball player, and then again to simply just do a tryout, never played the sport of football.
No,
that is almost, I mean, that is unheard of. I can't even believe
there was a football player that played for the Washington Redskins named Charles Mann. Derek Kennard played for the Dallas Cowboys. Tony Sendejas was a place kicker in the league forever. And then a guy named Bob Ham who had a tryout for Dallas. I lived in a room with all those guys. And because I actually got kicked out of a dorm for fighting. They put me in the room with all these football on a stipend. And those guys taught me. I didn't know how to put on my shoulder pads. I didn't know how to put on anything. Charles Mann, they were laughing at me because I had no idea how to put this shit on. And they were laughing at me. I never did it.
Man.
Wow. It's crazy though, Dan. When I became in the Nation of Domination, when I showed up to TV, I was supposed to be Papa Shango. And it was a newer, more menacing, not so cartoonish Papa Shango. And Jerry Lawler, I don't know if you know this.
No, I don't.
Jerry Lawler is an artist, like a real artist.
Really good.
Jerry Lawler did my face. He painted up my face. And we took some pictures. And I was all excited. I got in good shape. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do this second Papa Shango run. And they said, hey, take off your face paint. Vince wants to talk to you. I'm like, cool. I like to talk to Vince. So take off my face paint. I go there. And Vince it goes like this. Charles, change of plans. I'm like, change of plans. He goes, change of plans. We're not going to go with Papa Shango. We're going to call you Kama Mustafa. We're going to put you in the Nation of Domination. You and Farouk are going to wrestle the Undertaker tonight in a handicap match, and you're going over. And you know what I said? Now, this is just me. This is me. You know what I said to him? Because I'd signed a hell of a deal for like 3 years. And I said to him, I said, do I make the same amount of money? And he goes, yes, you do, Charles. I'm like, well, then I'm cool. And then he goes, we'll get with you and Ron. I never met Ron Simmons until I knew who Ron was. I watched Ron play football in college, but I didn't know him. So I met Ron and he's like, man, I don't know, man. I'm the last motherfucker to know when they tell me. They don't tell me. So he didn't know. And so the next week.
You sounded just like him. He's just a guy that didn't say a whole lot.
Give us a damn real quick.
I have a bad habit of talking like the person that talks to me. And so the next week, right? So The next week, Vince pulls me and Ron into the office, and I swear to you, this is true. And he goes, "You guys know who Dwayne Johnson is?" And I didn't know who the hell he was. And Ron's like, I'm like, "No." And Ron's like, "Yeah, I know who he is." And so he says, "Well, listen," he goes, "we tried to do something with his Samoan part." He goes, "and the people really poo-pooed on it." He said, "This time we're going to put him in the Nation of Domination." He goes, "When I get people to hate this kid," and this, I can remember it like it's yesterday, "Charles, Ron, when I get people to hate this kid, when I turn him, they're going to be the biggest thing wrestling ever saw." And that's what Vince told me and Ron. Because he goes, "This kid has talent." He goes, "I just gave him the wrong gimmick at first." He says, "But when I get people to hate him, when I turn him, he's going to be the biggest thing wrestling ever saw."
Wow.
So it's cool. It's cool to be a part of that.
Wow.
Yeah, that was.
Wow.
Yeah, the Nation was pretty good. I like those days. That was the best time, the Attitude Era. With the DX and the Nation and all. Yeah, that was good stuff.
Yeah, that was my same time frame being there, and it was. I'll just say, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, Charles, but WCW was kicking WWF's butt at that time in the ratings. So literally, WWF was pulling out all the stops, and they were like pushing the envelope on a weekly basis on all these live shows. I don't
remember WCW kicking our ass ever. They might have won a couple, but I don't remember them kicking our ass. Well, maybe they did. I don't remember. I will tell you this. I know for sure. I'm going to put myself over. I will tell you this for sure. Any segment that the Godfather was on, he would win that segment ratings. I never lost, no matter who they put me up against. Because back then people are going back and forth. They're like, "Nah, I'm gonna watch this one." They go back and forth from WWF to WCW. And when I came on, they would all come to me. So I had the certain time spot that they put me in. It was after 10 o'clock. It was in the second hour. And whoever they put me up against, I would beat them every time.
Wow.
Yeah, no, your segments are awesome. Didn't WCW offer you a contract to kind of have like Virgil's?
I don't want to seem like I'm sour, and I like to stay happy. Let's just say this. I had worked out a deal with a bunch of guys there: Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Hogan, and I'd worked out a deal. I don't know, really Hogan. And all of a sudden, they're not calling me. And I'm calling Scott, who's a friend of mine. He's not calling me back. I'm calling Kev. I'm calling these dudes up. They're not calling me back. I'm like, "What the hell's going on?" All of a sudden, I turn the TV on and I see Virgil. They were hiring me to be the bodyguard for the WCW and then eventually start wrestling. But I think somebody in that clique decided that it would be cheaper to hire Virgil to do what they were only going to push that character so far, and it would be cheaper to hire Virgil than to pay me what I was asking.
I think that makes sense? Better. I think it worked out better. I mean, the Godfather.
Yeah, it worked out great for me. Yeah, because I wouldn't have let them clown me. They clowned Virgil. I wouldn't have put up with that.
Yeah, they did. And then the NWO.
And Ron Simmons is the one that told me, "You don't want to go there." I'm not even going to get into that, but Ron told me, "You don't want to go there. You being from the North, you ain't used to these Southern boys." And I'm like, "I don't give a shit about these Southern boys." He's like, "You ain't gonna have a good time there, man." So it worked out best.
Good. Well, no, I guess it sounds like Ron definitely gave you some good advice. I mean, you've had fun with your career and just the different career choices. And what do you do now here, Charles? I mean, do you do still stuff with professional wrestling? Do you do appearances, autograph signings? I mean, but do you do any?
In the last 4 months, I've had 2 weekends off.
Oh, wow.
Doing appearances. I'm still under a Legends contract with Vince. Are you on a Legends contract with him?
No.
I've been under a Legends contract since 2003, and they send me a lot of places because the Attitude Era was such a overtime that a lot of the guys from that era that are still with us, they're not doing good. They don't look good. And I still look okay. So it's kind of cool to sit in the Godfather in there. Everybody loves the character, and I play the part. So I'm pretty busy. I also have my own cannabis line in California with Be Real with Cypress Hill. He owns Dr. Green Thumbs in LA. There's like 8 of them. I did a collaboration with him where I have my own strain. I have my own pre-rolls, and I stay busy. I stay busy.
Well, when did you start getting into that industry? I mean, as an entrepreneur.
When did I start getting paid?
Well, yeah, I mean,
around 2000. I've always been, an enthusiast for it. I mean, just look at my character, roll the fatty for Pep Daddy and light that blunt up. Think about cannabis with me. I'm 27 years old. I'm Papa Shango. I'm taking Vicodins, Percocets, Percodans, Somas, Halcyons. You know what all these things are. You've heard of them. I'm taking.
Just to cut you off for 1 second. When I would go to the locker room at times, because you for whatever reason, WWE was wanting people to get to the arena really early. So I'm here usually with my duffel bag as a pillow. I'm just laying on waiting to see what's going to happen next. Sometimes just waiting to see, will I even wrestle that night, because they got the chalkboard out there. And if someone's promo goes a little too long, or if a match goes a little long, all of a sudden they pull out the eraser, like your match is gone, just like that. So most of the time I was waiting around, but I watched in locker rooms, like everyone's come out there and they pull out the bag, and all of a sudden it's like, bottle at the bottle's being laid on there, and then other guys come out there like going, "What do you got? Oh, I could use some of these. I could use some of those," and then like going,
Hey, I was part of that. Plus drinking a bottle of Jack Daniels. Okay. But at 27, I went through my first divorce. I'm Papa Shango, and I tried cannabis for the first time in my life at 27 years old. And what I can remember is, man, my shoulder don't hurt as bad as it did. My back feels a little better. And I went to the gym, and my workout, I got the best pump ever. And then we went to like Jack in the Box. It was the best hamburger I ever had in my life. And so shortly, will I have a shot of Jack? Yeah. Will I have a beer? Yeah. But I'll take no prescription. I'm getting ready to have a total knee replacement on my knee, so I might have to break down and take some pain pills. But other than that, I won't take any of that. Muscle relaxers, any of that. I rely on cannabis for all of that. Now, cannabis doesn't work for everybody, nor do I try to get everybody to try it. This is what I tell people. I just tell people what it has done for me. Correct. And for me, it's been the best thing in the world. I never made money in wrestling until I start talking about it. It made me a nicer person. It's preserved me, I think. It makes me creative. I'm not the type of guy that gets high and then wants to sit on the couch and eat munchies. I want to go wash the car. I want to go fix this. I want to go clean some guns. I do to just totally.
It motivates you. I mean, I'm like going
beyond. I mean, I haven't smoked for an hour and I'm dying to light one up now.
Go for it.
Well, it's okay with us if you want to.
Since you said that.
Yeah, I'll smoke with you.
This is my strain. This is my bag.
Oh, that's awesome.
Insane Godfather.
That's
and
awesome.
If you see on the back, I don't know if I can get it. It tested at 32% THC.
Wow, that's awesome. What's so it's called Insane Godfather?
It's called Insane Godfather.
Is it a hybrid, sativa?
Indica? Yeah, well, it's more of an indica, but it's an indica hybrid. Okay. It was something called Cement Shoes, and what he did is
those are good.
Be Real. It was called Cement Shoes for a reason.
I've had that. Yes.
Yeah, and so he's like, I've got all these strains. I got to put a name on them. He goes, I want you to find one that you really like, and then we're going to put your name on it. And we'll work out a little deal. And I'm like, I tried it. I'm like, this is it. The problem is it's a 12-week plant. It's not an 8-week plant. So you lose at least one harvest and not two. Yeah. So usually it's out of a lot of places. As soon as they get it out there, it sells out. But it's really good. But the problem is it's a 12-week plant.
There you go. Nice.
This just happens to be one of my pre-rolls from that.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, you might find this hard to believe there, Charles, but I'm also bound in CBD. So, but because I like all the medical benefits of the CBD for what it does for pain reduction, but there's so many different things that it does on the molecular level as well, whether you take it orally or if you smoke it, or topical application. So I love the effects of the CBD oil, especially when, being a wrestler, being an athlete, and all other things. You got a sore shoulder, rub a little bit of CBD on. You got a banged up knee, rub a little bit of CBD on. So I'm really big about that for just pain reduction and quality of life.
I talked to Vince one time about smoking, right? And I'm not going to get into the whole conversation, but at the end of it, he said, "Charles, it seemed to make you a nicer person." So,
well, you always have a smile.
With that.
You always got a smile on your face whenever I see you, man. Yeah,
bro. I've been through the tough guy, the mean guy, not the bully. I've never been a bully. I've been through all that. I'm 61 years old. I'm going to enjoy the second half of my life. You get much further in this life being nice instead of being mean. And so my meanness has left me 20 years ago over that. So
hey, I love your Instagram, man. It's freaking all the videos. And I was cracking up with the one you did with you had like the Papa Shango face in the back of you and then Kama smoking bowls. I was cracking up, man.
Look at him over there, smoking his Godfather bud. How about Kama? Huh? If Kama had a bud, it'd be the bud that kick your ass. The bud that beat the shit out you.
Yes, I know, Kama. And if he doesn't come out with the Papa Shango voodoo bud, I'll put a curse on him. All right? Now, where's my fucking Papa Shango jacket, huh?
That's just me having fun.
No,
man.
yeah, exactly.
I just be having fun.
You can just tell you're having a good time, and I appreciate, like, us fans, we love seeing that stuff, man. It's great, just it makes us happy to see you out there just enjoying life still.
I've been blessed. I always tell people I don't have Undertaker money, but I'm doing okay.
Yeah,
and I'm just blessed. I'm really blessed.
Well, speaking of the Undertaker, so is it true that you pretty much got him into country music, some bikes and tattoo? You pretty much made the Undertaker, right? And he even stole he just almost took your name. You just put under in front of it.
Well, he said it in his Hall of Fame speech, where he said, besides my father, I've been one of the biggest influences on his life. Then he says, I'm not necessarily a good influence, but when I met him, he listened to like that long hair music, Motley Crue and those type of bands.
Yeah.
He didn't listen. I listen to country music, still do. He didn't drink Jack Daniels. He didn't ride a Harley. And so I kind of got him into all that stuff and kind of showed him the way. And there's a lot, I just say this, and he'll say the same thing. There's a lot of me in the Undertaker character.
Yep. Yeah.
But he don't smoke. He was never a smoker. He didn't like smoking.
No. So what about, do you think that Vince should have let him finish his career undefeated at WrestleMania?
I don't think it was up to Vince. I think it was up to Mark.
Yeah.
Vince ain't gonna. Mark's at the level where he's not gonna do nothing that he don't think's good for business. Yeah. And he's not gonna do it just for the money. He's got more money than God. So I mean, he did it for a reason. So believe me, he's not that. I was there when he did that, and I was with him that afternoon. But we never. I didn't know he was losing, and I was with him that afternoon. We were, playing dominoes, doing our thing, and we never even talked about it. I seen him the next morning, and he was fucked up, and he was on his way to the hospital. And I mean, that match, he really got messed up in that match.
Oh yeah.
I see him the next morning, and I was getting ready. Me and my wife were leaving, and I'm like, "You all right, big dog?" He's like, "I'll be all right." I'm like, "Sure, you're all right?" He goes, "I'll be all right. We're going to the doctor now." So, I mean, yeah, he got a real bad concussion in that match early.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I have to bring up the Brawl for All since I got both of you here in front of me. That was, the tournament you guys actually fought in the first round.
Let me interrupt you first there, Tony.
Oh, go ahead.
Charles, do you think that the Brawl for All was even a good idea to do something like this in a professional wrestling setting?
I think looking back, it wasn't a good idea. You know, I didn't put much thought into it, but looking back at it, it wasn't a good idea because that's not what people wanted to see. And it got a lot of people hurt. And I mean, it got a lot of people hurt. Got me hurt, you know, and it's funny. The only two people that really survived that whole thing was me and Bradshaw. Everybody else kind of faded away after that. If you think about it, everybody kind of faded away after that.
Oh, I mean, I know the people that they were looking to try to put over into it all. It kind of all blew up in everybody's face. You know, it was supposed to be for Dr. Death to, you know, come out and be this, you know, incredible champion, stuff like that. But you know, being from the world of professional wrestling, where you know what the outcome is going to be, you know, it's up to the athletes that to conduct business to make it happen in their own magical type of ways. But you know, that Brawl for All, just I still remember when all the road agents gathered up all the talent and they brought us into the cafeteria room. And then they started to explain this concept of this Brawl for All. And then they said that the only two people that are not allowed, they said, was Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn. And then one of the road agents had to be standing right next to me. I go, well, do I need to be in here for any more of this meeting? He says, no, you can go. I left. So I wouldn't even stay in the cafeteria to hear the rest of it. And it was like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 weeks later, all I am doing is I'm just laying on a bench. You know, again, waiting around to see you. And will I be working tonight or will I not be working tonight?
Really? I didn't know
that. And one of the road agents, Cam, comes in and he simply says, would you like to fight in the Brawl for All? And I just simply said, against who and how much? He just you know, said and gave me a price. I go, sure. But I told him, I says, I don't want to wear any gloves. And he said, but he goes, but you can't punch. I said, I will never, I told him, I said, I will never throw a single punch. I go, I'm just going to go out there and just show you what an actual wrestler can do. Because I always tell people, hey, Charles, when I went to the Ultimate Fighting Championship, I was nothing more than a one-trick pony going into the Ultimate Fighting Championships. I had no boxing background. I had no these things were, I was never going to win a fight with my hands. But I always said to the people, you have to be within arm's reach to punch me, legs range to kick, the elbow. And I go, I'll just stay a little out of range. People, they throw, they recoil back. As they recoil back, I just simply move on up to whether I either clinch, takedown, or shoot in for takedowns or jam them up against cage ropes or cage fences. And I go, that was the simple theory. I went into the Ultimate Fighting Championship. So literally going out there, even for the Brawl for All, is like going, well, what am I going to do with these 18-ounce gloves on here right now? You know, because it's going to really impede me in my abilities of what I can do.
Like you said, with me, it was just, they said, how much? They were like, we'll pay you this much if you fight, this much you win. I just said, okay. That's about all the thought I put to it. I wish I would have took it more serious on the second half than I did, but you know, it is what it is. You know, I mean, Bart's knocking people out, and you know, I'm at home doing my normal, getting high, just relaxing, not going. You know, One Kick Nick, right? And One Kick Nick in Vegas.
No, I don't.
Anyway, he's trying to get me to go down there and practice, and I'm like, nah, I'll be all right. I wish I would have took it a little bit more serious, which I know it doesn't make any sense, but I wish I would have took it a little bit more serious than I did.
Yeah, like I said, you had the time of your life though with all those other characters and stuff like
yeah,
that.
I was having fun. It was just a payday for me. I'm like, well, I'll go as far as I can and make some money. What the hell?
You did good. I mean, Dan just smothered you in the first. Like he said, he came in and he just.
Well, again, the respect was the fact that I know that if I give the Godfather any room to move and breathe, he's going to swat me. Okay, so you can simply say it's out of respect, knowing that I am not going to win this game. He's going to tear me apart, so I need to move in and just impede that ability.
Looks like he got you a few times, Dan.
Well, no, he did. He did. Yeah. You still have to get in. You're gonna take a little punishment, kind of closing that distance. So
I was just trying to count. Like, I know he's gonna shoot. I'm trying to catch him coming in.
Yeah. Well, again,
if I was
coaching against myself, I would have been telling you the exact same thing.
You're actually the only one that took him down, Dan. I remember, like, yeah, on everyone else, they couldn't get you. You didn't let anyone else take you down. Well, I mean, later on, Bart got you down, but it took him 13 tries. That you took like 13 shots before you went down.
Who did?
You did, and that
That's
against
it.
Bart.
I don't remember. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
I remember.
It wasn't until later somebody's like, "You got to sprawl, you idiot! Stop trying to." And I'm like, "Okay." I was never a wrestler, man. I mean, I never learned wrestling. Yeah. I'm just a barroom brawler that's learned how to hit a bag and learned how to hit a speed bag and learned a couple of things. But I don't, I'm no professional fighter. That was a stupid idea. And when Butterbean, I was with Butterbean and Dwayne Gill, and not like just before he fought Bart. And he's like, guys, he said, listen, no matter what you think about me, I've had over 100 professional fights. How many of you guys had? And he goes, you're not professional fighters. You guys might be tough guys, but he said, I'm going to take Bart out quick. And I told Vince, I'm going to take him out quick. Vince was like, take him out, and he's like, because you guys, that's like Dan. You guys are professional fighters. You know what to do. I mean, we're not professional fighters. We're just big old dummies, that think we're tough.
Yeah, I mean, I did watch that match with him and the Butterbean there, and I mean, it was brutal what Butterbean did to him. So, but I mean, but that, just like I said, Butterbean, but by the time he starts to coil all that body weight into a shot, I mean, it could be just a shot to the body, and that's going to put you out there alone. Yeah.
No matter what you think of him, the dude's had over 100 professional fights.
Yes.
Bad idea though.
Yeah.
I'm thankful that it didn't harm me. For what happened and the whole thing, I'm one of the few people that it didn't harm.
And you still got hurt, right? You said like your leg, your quad, bad, bro. You tore your quad. Right?
The first time he knocked me down, man, I blew out my whole leg. Mm-hmm. And I mean my knee, my thigh, my hip. Yeah, man.
You still got up. God, I don't know how do you get up and go back in there?
Stupid.
You guys are crazy.
Stupid.
That's what Don,
stupid.
That's what Don says too. The same thing.
Yeah,
stupid.
Men have that tendency of doing things like that.
I can do it. I can do it.
We were raised at a different time, and you got a different mindset. And stupid. Yeah. I would tell my son, "Don't do any of these things I've done. Don't be an idiot like me."
Wow.
So how was Japan?
Japan?
How'd you like working in Japan?
You know what? I like Japan. It was stiff, and I was green, so it was easier for me to work over there because it was stiff.
Yeah.
And it was easier for me to work because nobody bitched about you laying it in, and I didn't bitch if they laid it in.
I imagine though also with your size though, Charles, they had to love you because they love the big American wrestlers, so they had to love you just for your sheer size and then being stiff on top of that. Come on now, you're giving them cherry on top.
Well, what happened is Leon and Vader and Stan Hansen were there, and I had a match with Muda or Chono or one of them guys, I don't remember. And they kind of lit me up a little bit. And when I came back, Bam Bam and Stan pulled me to the side like, hey, you can't let that happen. If you let them light you up like that, they're going to really start lighting you up. They said, when you lock up tomorrow, as soon as you lock up with that guy, you jaw check him as hard as you can. Whap! Lay one in on him and let him know. He says, they won't fuck with you no more. So I laid it in. I laid a couple in, and okay, we worked, and that's what happened. And from that time on, I didn't have no more problems. I didn't mind a little stiff, but they were lacing. I can't think of the one guy's name that threw hard kicks. He was kind of heavy set. I can't think of his name, but he threw hard ass kicks, and he was lacing me with them.
I don't know.
It don't even matter.
No, it doesn't even matter. Did you ever get slapped by a Noki?
No. I worked for a Noki, but I didn't work. Yeah, I worked that side. What was that? New Japan?
Yeah.
I didn't. The other one was All Japan, I think. I worked for New Japan.
Okay. Yep. How long were you in Japan?
About 2 or 3 or 4 different times, like 2-3 months at a time.
Yeah.
And then I went over there. I was working in Germany, and I flew over there and did a show with Ludwig Borga. I think me and Owen flew over there to do a show over there, you know.
Obviously, The Godfather is your favorite. It was your favorite gimmick, but you know, besides that, like, what did you enjoy doing the most?
Besides The Godfather?
Yeah, and was it like with time with the Nation, or just like you said, your Papa Shango time?
Papa Shango was cool. I was too green. I was a biker. I wasn't used to being a voodoo man, so I kind of screwed that up. The Nation was cool. Being in the Nation was fun. I was having fun every day. That's why I stuck around. For me, wrestling was never about the money. The money was great, but I always was making money in the strip clubs. Even though when I was wrestling, I was still one of the owners. So I was still making money. So I could survive without wrestling. The money was cool, but I could survive without it. So it was fun to me. So when wrestling, that's why you'd see me come and go. If I wasn't having fun, I'm like, dude, I ain't having fun. I ain't making much money. I'm going through tables every night. I could be at home looking at titties every night, making more money than this. And that's what and then they would call me and try to get me to come back. And I'd be like, no. Then I'd go back. And then if it wasn't fun, I would leave. And I was like, Vince, I got to go, bro. I'm like, he would just laugh at me because he knew I wasn't going nowhere else. And so, yeah, I mean, that's why you'd see me come and go.
And that was from the Nation, you planted the Godfather name, right? To The Rock, you had him call you the Godfather in a promo.
Me and my wife were working on it. These hats that I wear, like I don't know if you can see the inside of that, but it says Godfather.
Yeah. It shows the Godfather. Yes.
Okay, these are called Godfather hats, and I used to wear them all the time anyway. I used to wear black ones. So I told The Rock one day, I'm like, all I used to say was, "Power to the Nation," and that's all I said. And so I'm like, "Hey, Rock, when you address me, call me the Godfather." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Just call me the Godfather." So he's like, "Hey, my man, the Godfather here." And from that point on, everybody just started calling me Godfather.
So that's awesome. So then, you took a little break from the Nation, and then that's when you came back as
No, I never took a break.
No?
From the Nation, I went right into the Godfather.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Because they broke up.
And then I got hurt in the brawl for all. I got hurt, and then they put me. I was out for like 4 months. I was out for a while. Yeah. And then I came back as the Godfather.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's right. The Nation broke up and everything, all that angle. Yeah. And
what I like about your character, Charles, was I remember being in, I forget what flight this was, but it's one of the flights there with all the various wrestlers from WWF, and you had this smile and grin on your face when they were asking for your pre-boards and stuff like that, and you pulled out your cane out there and you started walking on up to the front of that line, and you looked back at other boys, kind of did a little wink and a smile, and went right on that plane like first class all the way.
Come on, I'm the Godfather.
Yes.
If you got a cane, you might as well use it.
Well, no, you were a worker there. It's like, oh, this man knows how to work the system.
Believe me, I'm still a worker.
That's what I mean. You had fun with that character. I mean, in and out of the ring. So it was. I could just tell you just had a lot of fun with that character. Just that you had too big of a smile for all the stuff that you were doing there. So yeah,
I had a very good time. And the thing, I'm still having a good time. We're not in the stripper club anymore. Now it's not the hoe train anymore. It's the smoke train.
The smoke train. Well, it's still
but,
that keeps you pretty happy though too as well. So it alleviates pain, and you don't have very many worries at that point in time.
Brother, I am in heaven. I am blessed. I am in a happy place. That's why we're going to move here pretty soon to a more rural area and just kind of kick it, man. And I'm going to be on the second part of my life. Me and my wife, just me, her, and my dogs. All my kids are grown, so I'm going to get a nice little piece of land and maybe grow some of my little funny flowers and just kick it, man. Just go out smiling and having fun.
Do you actually have any like social medias and that if people want to get in touch with you for bookings or speaking engagements?
If you want to book, it's godfatherbooking@gmail.com if you'd like to book me. godfatherbooking@gmail.com. I'm on Instagram as The Godfather, verified. I'm on there a lot, and I do most of my stuff on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook. I'm the WWE Godfather, but I'm not too active on there. I'm very active on my Instagram.
Yes, you should definitely check it out.
And if you're in California, get by Dr. Green Thumb Dispensaries and pick up some good ass smoke.
Is it only available in California though right now?
Only in California.
I mean, it's testing at 32%. Come on.
Come on, man.
So I got a question about this Power Bomb pizza. So what's the deal with that, and how does that work?
That's so Ryan over at Pro Wrestling Tees. He started up this deal where he got with Uber and different pizza companies where you can go on Uber Eats and order a themed pizza, a themed wings, and from a local pizzeria, and they deliver it to you. And then, of course, you get a little percentage of the money, but that's all it is with me. I just got a check from them, though, not too long ago. I was like, oh, wow. The pizzas are selling.
Yeah, it looks pretty interesting because they got a bunch of different, like they got.
I'm the Godfather's pepperoni pizza.
Yeah, I was like, you got the pepperoni, the Godfather's pimpin' pepperoni pizza.
Pimpin' pepperoni,
pepperoni.
Baby.
You can't beat
I'm
that.
pushing that pie.
Yep, that's awesome. And I mean, they got Mick Foley has the 4 cheeses of Foley. You know,
Kevin Nash has got one. RVD's got something.
Yeah. RVD
Eddie Guerrero, I think, has one. Vader has. I mean, there's a bunch of us.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. They Eddie Guerrero has wings. He has Eddie Guerrero's Latino Heat wings.
I might have to try some of those. There's a place in Vegas here that I called them one day and had some delivered here.
Yeah.
A couple Godfather pizzas. They didn't even know it was me.
No,
I didn't tell them.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, and then you got Brutus the Barber cheesecake.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. Rob Van Dam's is it's the Rob Van Dam. That's a lot of veggies pizza.
That's a little weird.
Yeah, for him and that.
Or are you in Vegas again? Now, without giving you exact location, are you close to the strip downtown area, or you live outside for now?
I'm out by Aliante Golf Course, more north.
Okay.
More north.
Yeah. Like I say, because I was just in Vegas just a couple of weekends ago, just for the UFC event that they took place there. So I didn't know it was a madhouse at that point, but I didn't know what area that you lived into. So
I'm 30 minutes north from the airport, a good 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas actually it's growing. I mean, it's growing out more and more. I think it's just one of those areas that people realize the weather's decent, and there's some good amenities to the area.
I can't wait to get out of here. I hate it here. I've been here too long. It's the desert. I'm tired of the desert. I'm tired of the heat. I'm tired of not seeing green. I'm tired of not seeing water. I'm tired of not seeing snow. So I'm tired.
I'm gonna say you're tired of not seeing snow. I'm thinking that might be a rude awakening, though.
No, I've lived in the snow before. I mean, where we're going, it only gets like 30 inches a year, and that's not that much.
No,
I can live with that.
Being from Michigan, it's kind of like going. I like living in Arizona because if I want to go see snow, all I gotta do is drive 2 hours north. I can see it in Flagstaff during the winter months if I want to see snow. I live that lifestyle. I'm in Michigan for spring, summer, fall, and then I skedaddle towards Arizona for the fall.
Right. Well, like I said, this is the second half of my life. I'm just going to be chilling in the cabin. And we're looking at more of a big log cabin house, and I'm just going to be chilling there anyway. So if it's snowing, I ain't going nowhere anyway. I'll put some more firewood on in the fireplace.
So have you ever, I mean, you've got such an interesting life going on there. Has anybody approached you about doing a couple like mini documentaries or a book
all the time? I'm just not ready to do them. And I don't know when I will be ready, but I'm not ready.
Well, I'm thinking when you get this cabin set up situation, that might be when you might want to start writing your memoirs at that point in time, when you're sitting around the fire.
I've had a few people interested in me putting some stuff on paper or on videos, but I'm just not ready. Maybe when I move and I settle down and I do it, but right now I'm having too much fun still.
Well, it's good. I always say, attitude goes a long ways. And there's some people I know, they just have, they got miserable attitudes, and they somehow they just absorb even more miserable. I'm thinking, these are the people I try to stay away from all the time. Life is too short. I mean,
life's too short, and we've realized that as we've gotten older, life's too short, man. And I'm going to enjoy what I have left of it. I'm going to stay high, stay motivated, stay happy, and hopefully stay healthy.
Wow. I got nothing to put with that there, Tony. I mean, that's like going, that's like, who can ask for more out of life than that? That's, the credenza, boom.
It looks like you're doing it sounds like you're doing all those things as well. I mean,
daily, hourly.
You're living the good life.
Bro, I am very blessed. I am very blessed. I'm very humble. I'm very blessed, and life is good.
Has Tony or I missed something that you would like to bring up that we might have missed? Because like I said, until I actually started reading your biography, that it uncovered some things that I did not know about you. But then, is there something that we missed that you really want to bring out to the folks? Or
we're good. I've read my mouth enough.
Oh.
I got one more question.
Okay.
Where did you get all your hoes in every town you went to?
Strip clubs.
Yeah.
Strip clubs. At first, when we first did it, me, Taker, and the Harris boys, Ron and Don Harris, they were in the biker group. We went the first 2 times. We went and all got girls, and then after that, they took it over. And then Bruce Pritchard, I think, had it at first. And it was their job to get the girls and get them from strip clubs. Well, as it got over, then strip clubs would call them and say, hey, we got some girls for you. And then it got to the point where the strip club girls were acting too crazy and getting too wild. So Vince went to actresses. They were worse than the strippers.
Wow. Well, I mean,
they're part of their job.
I had it so good, bro. I had it so good. Like what Vince would do is at TV, right? Did you ever stay at the TV hotels? Did you ever stay during TV? Did you ever stay at the TV hotels?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, there's always a TV hotel where they put up all the staff and all the people and the wrestlers that they take care of, right? I'd always stay at the TV hotels. And so, you know how at TV you got to be there like 12:30, 1 o'clock?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, again, that's what they told all the talent at that point.
Yeah,
in time.
okay, but they would have the girls at TV, they would have the girls come to my hotel, okay, wherever the hotel was at. And then they'd have a limo pick us up around 4:30, because then that's all when all the people are coming in. So I'd be pulling in with the limo fully dressed with all the girls. But they'd have the girls meet me at 12 o'clock. So I'd have the girls drinking, partying. So all the boys would be going to TV at 12:30, and then look out at the pool. And I'm out at the pool smoking, drinking. I got all these girls with me having the time of my life. And the boys would just walk by and go, I don't believe this. And then Vince would walk by and go,
wow.
Dude,
that's pretty cool.
So much fun, bro.
And that's pretty cool that even the boss is recognizing he's having just too much fun being this character. Wow. Wow.
Vince knows. Vince is the biggest pimp around.
Wow.
That would not surprise me.
This is true. Wow.
So I know so back in stage, you ran with the BSK, the Bone Street crew, right?
Mm-hmm.
And could you give us maybe a funny story or something from Yokozuna?
I tell so many stories. Some of them haven't come out yet. So I'm like, just Yoko was a good dude, man. And he was so big that he couldn't sleep laying down. He had to sleep standing up. But just a great dude, man. We had a lot of Jack Daniel with him. He informed me one day he had to let me know I was black because I was listening to country music and chewing tobacco. And he had to remind me that he told me one time, I don't think you know you black. But I still listen to country music and all that type of stuff. But just a great group of guys. I talk to Taker weekly. I talk to those guys. We're all on a Facebook chat, and I talk to Rikishi, the Godwin, Savio Vega. I talk to Taker. We all talk a lot. Oh, excuse me, we text.
Yes.
But it's all good, man. It's all good.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Yokozuna was awesome. He's definitely one of my favorites.
Good dude, he was. Good dude.
Yeah. I think the funny scene was when he did that match, and he had Vince. Vince was knocked down, back up with his head up against the turnbuckle, stuff like that, and he brought back his butt. And you did not see Vince's head whatsoever. It got consumed in the Chicosauruses. Yes,
the Chicosauruses. Those were good times back then.
Yeah, that was so comical. I kept thinking, I'll bet the boys put him up to doing something a little bit special for old Vince that night. Charles, it's been fantastic having you on the air. Basically, I'll just go into this concludes another episode of Toxic Masculinity. And if we have to offend anybody here this evening, well, tough. This is just our little fun time here to converse and talk about anything and everything. You've got the right to either watch us or not. That's the American way. That's how I look at things. So thank you for being a part of this episode this evening. Charles, continue to have a fantastic time in life.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on here. Appreciate everybody listening. You guys have no idea how much I enjoy you. So everybody keep smoking, stay on that smoke train. Peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity. You better like, subscribe, and share, or I'm going to come to your house.